Russ has been terrible all year. Yeah, look, the first game, I get it. The first game, Skip, there were a lot of delay of game penalties. It seemed like Nathaniel Hackett had a hard time getting the plays in, getting them communicated properly, and they had a hard time, getting the plays once they got to the line of scrimmage. If there was any checks that needed to be made, by the time they were making those checks, time had expired. Okay, 5 yards back. But last night, Skip, that was Russ. Russ was awful. And as much as I hate to say this, because he's on my team and I bleed orange and blue.
Yep.
Seattle might have sold us a lemon. Right now, it's not looking good. Skip, the first 5 games of the season, Russell Wilson has been awful. There's no other way around it. Now, he didn't get a whole lot of help. He threw one great pass last night, Skip, and the tight end dropped it in the end zone that would have been a touchdown. But, Skip, Russ does not want to get hit anymore. Unless it's wide open like the first scramble last night. I think he took off for like 20-plus yards. Other than that, Russ is looking for a nice, comfortable place to lay down. He is not the same Russell Wilson that we saw the first decade of his career up in Seattle. He looks scared. He's missing read. K.J. Hamler was wide open. They ran a play. They ran the slot. They ran into the fade. They ran him on what we call an under route. K.J. Hamler would have walked into the end zone, and Russell Wilson never looked that side.
What did K.J. Hamler do right after that play ended?
I don't like that he slammed his helmet down.
He slammed his helmet. You want to talk about showing up your quarterback?
Yeah.
But I think that might have been the mood prevailing in the locker room after the game. Everyone was slammed their helmet down and was looking side-eye at Russ.
Skip, having gone through this situation, when they bring a high-dollar guy on and he's supposed to perform at a high level, and he's not performing at that level, everybody in that locker room is looking like, what the hell did the Broncos play a quarter of a bill for? This?
All those draft picks went for this?
Where is the guy that was a couple of times, Skip, was a top 5, top 10 player picked by the other players in the National Football League?
Just 2 years ago, he was second.
Where's that guy?
I don't know.
Where's that guy?
Well,
Skip,
Pete Carroll is saying, I tried to tell you.
He did try to tell her. Skip, the interception to Gilmore jumps inside, and I don't know why. That's a hell of a film study, because it seems like it was cover one to me, and Gilly jumps inside from the jump when the fade and the out route are still on the table. He guessed right. Russell was late with the ball, hit Stephon Gilmore right in the chest with the ball. And then he throws the first interception, Skip, he throws off his back foot. What the hell was that?
I don't know.
Nobody was even down there.
I have no idea.
He gets sacked on a hot route. Gordon runs right by the guy because Gordon is the hot receiver, and he misses him, and the guy hits Russ. And then he gets dinged. I thought he had a concussion, Skip, because he never saw, I think Franklin was the linebacker that hit him. He never saw him.
No.
Quarterbacks are not built.
He said and they said they checked and checked and checked, and he answered all the questions. Go ahead.
Well, I can't tell. Well, first of all, if you're missing reads like you're missing reads.
Well, are you going to give him a concussion pass here?
No, hell no. No, Skip, I tweeted he should have been out of the game. Skip, there are not very many men. Look, there are different positions that used to taking hits. Quarterbacks are not used to taking them to the chops, especially when you don't see it. Because he never saw him. He was diving trying to get the guy down, and 44 hit him right in his jaw. And he never saw that coming. And you look at him when he was on the ground, and you tell me everything is okay in that head. And if it was okay, why in the hell are you missing the reads that are routine? A quarterback...
So you are giving him a pass?
No, Skip.
No?
Skip.
Well, but you're saying that's a valid excuse then, right?
If you didn't have a concussion, why in the hell are you missing simple reads that a quarterback of your caliber should never miss?
I think he was missing them all last year, but we didn't really focus.
Maybe you're right, Skip. Maybe because he was up in Seattle and things were going on and yada, 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 and we didn't see it. Now maybe I'm paying more close attention to it for the simple fact he's on the team that I played over a decade for. But, Skip, they're not very good. The 31st in scoring, only ahead of the Colts. The Broncos have reached 17 points one time this year. That was a loss to the Raiders. Russ has been terrible. And please, I want you to stop. Skip, I've never seen anything. They showed, and the fans were leaving.
They were leaving at the end of regulation, before overtime.
Skip, it's tied. The game tied. The game wasn't over.
Bronco fans, faithful.
Skip, you remember
you played there. You know the fervor. You know the adulation. You know the depth of love that city and that area has for those Broncos.
The Rockies, they got Nikola Jokic, they got everything else. Denver, Colorado, and the Mile High, they bleed Bronco. It's Bronco
country. End of story. I got it.
Skip, I've been there through the lean years. In 1990, we lost 6 straight games. In 94, we lost the first 4 games and then lost the last 3. And that never happened, not that I can my recollection.
Whew.
And every time I turn around, Bronco country, let's ride. Bruh, the car broke down. You not riding, you walking. So how the hell you gonna talk about let's ride? Your car broke down. Either you out of gas or the car need repaired. But Russell Wilson has got to play better based on what they gave him monetarily. Skip, he's got to play better. He's not even looking. I mean, he made his mind up. I'm throwing this ball to Courtland Sutton.
Yep.
He never looked to his right because he'd have just given the ball to KJ Hamler, and KJ would have walked into the end zone. Now, I do not agree with KJ Hamler slamming his helmet. Don't show your quarterback up. Just go back and talk and say, hey, Russ, I was open on that. I've been there, KJ. Trust me, I've been there. Go back, hey, bro, missed me on this one. Talk to him, let him hopefully understand. But, Les, woo-wee. It's going to be, I'm telling you, Skip, you know, I'm going out there, we're having the 25th anniversary of our first Super Bowl. I'm not going to be very pleasant. I don't know if they want to see me. Because I tell you like a TIST is. I don't bite my tongue. I don't bite my tongue for nothing. So they need to play better. Russ in particular, he needs to play better. Skip, that defense good enough. That's a playoff defense. You see how they be balling? Getting after the quarterback. They lost Randy Gregory, one of the best pressure guys in all of football.
Don't tell me about it, because I lost him too.
Skip, secondary is good enough. They're making plays. 12 points?
I don't think it's that hard to make plays against what's left of Matt Ryan, but that's a whole nother story. But go ahead. Skip, they hung in the whole night.
The whole night.
Yep.
The whole night. This is Russ. This is Russ. Russ has been awful.
You done?
Yeah.
Okay, my turn. Last night, Russell Wilson made Baker Mayfield look like Tom Brady. That's how bad it was. Like Tom Brady. Last night, if possible, Russell Wilson was even worse than Russell Westbrook has been for your Lakers.
Yeah, he was bad. He was.
He was bad. Shannon Sharpe, I remind you of what happened on opening night. Nathaniel Hackett got vilified and condemned for taking the ball out of Russ's hands and saying, no, I think I'm going to try a 64-yard field goal, albeit in the mile-high atmosphere. And it almost made it. It was just a foot left.
That was in Seattle, Skip.
Yeah, oh, it was in Seattle. That's right. I'm sorry. I was thinking it was in Denver. But you're right. But the point was, it almost got there. And that would have made Nathaniel Hackett a hero. Instead, he was the villain of the whole opening weekend. And the point was, I think he was onto something because Russ had been spotty through the whole game. And all of a sudden, I think young Nathaniel, son of my friend Paul Hackett, he just says, I think I trust my kicker from 64 more than I trust him on, 4th and 5?
4th and 5.
Okay, so you were down on Nathaniel because you were still thinking that Russ was Russ.
Right.
That Russ can cook in Seattle where he had cooked so often. And last night, obviously, he only cooked your Broncos.
He did.
He just cooked them again and again and again. The first play that I want to point up to is the one deep ball he connected on. It's 51 yards. If we could see it, it's a 3rd and 12 play. I'm sorry, 2nd and 8 play. It's 8-12 in the 3rd quarter. If we could see what happened on this deep throw.
Hell, who is he throwing it to?
This is not intended for Courtland Sutton. This is intended for that little kid, what's his name, Montrell Washington. He's a rookie. He's trying to throw it to Montrell Washington, and Courtland Sutton says, no, I'm going to come across, and why they're running the routes in the same area code, I don't even know.
I don't know either.
That looks bad enough as it is, but Russ just throws that up for grabs. It's underthrown, and as they're waiting for the ball to come down, Courtland Sutton just says, I'm going to just sort of cut across over here, and I'm going to go snatch it from my own guy.
He just sees the ball up in there. And if they don't run up the official, the Colts might intercept it. The guy got tangled up with the back judge.
I can't remember the last time that I saw 2 players on the same team fighting for a pass with no defenders really fighting for the ball.
Unless it was a Hail Mary.
Okay, unless it's a Hail Mary. But again, that was right in the middle of the field.
That was a Hail Mary in the middle of the field.
And that's his biggest completion of the night of 51 yards, and I think it was intended for the rookie and not for Courtland Sutton.
I agree.
Okay, you mentioned the first interception. We got to throw it because I have no idea. This is one of those, for a veteran quarterback, you just don't even think about it unless you're just losing it. You have no idea. You're desperate. You're just going to throw something up to who? To nobody. That was intended for 3D Colts.
But watch what he throws. Watch what he does when he throws this, Skip.
Well,
you see how he does. You see how he does because he's gun shy. Watch this. Not the first guy, but watch as the guy loops around. Look what he does. He ducks. That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign.
He's made his money. His family is his priority now, and I don't think he wants to be in harm's way. I just think
you can't play.
You lose your nerve a little bit. You're a little more self-protective, and it's just hard to play like that.
If you become unnerved in this game, you can't play it.
All right, now let's go to the flashpoint moment at the end of regulation, and it finally gets to. What's the down and distance? No, not that. This is third and fourth to 13. There's 2:13 left in the game. Third and fourth to 13. Let's see what happens here because the Colts are out of timeouts. So it's 2:13 left, and you do this, as you point out. Well, it's not even close to open, and he's still arguably the best cornerback in the league. Yes, right?
He outside release, he undercut it. Now, he could have, I don't know, 16. His hair had covered up his jersey.
Yep.
He outside release, and Gilmore's like, oh, you know what? I think he's going to run an in-breaking route. And he jumps in his hip pocket. Russell's a little late, and he hits Gilmore in the chest.
He looked like the intended receiver.
He did.
Okay.
He did.
All right. So think about strategically what you're up against here. There's still going to be the 2-minute warning, but the Colts are out of timeout. So if you do nothing but kneel on the ball, if you try to run the ball and you don't make the first down, you still have a field goal that is going to make it a 6-point game.
Right.
Well, nobody's been able to even come close to scoring a touchdown.
Correct.
So what are the odds they'll get the clock stopped at 2 minutes?
Right.
So the Colts are going to get the ball back with just under 2 minutes remaining, which is enough time to go 70 yards or whatever it has to be.
But they've had 4 quarters. They basically had 3.5 quarters. They couldn't get a touchdown.
Okay. So they wouldn't need a field goal. They would need a touchdown to 7.
Right.
So the point is that the prudent decision is just to run the football.
Right.
Or if you do have a veteran quarterback you trust, then the whole idea is, okay, let's try for the, 4 yards for a first down. Because if you get a first down, you're going to win the game.
Yeah, if you get a first down, the game's over.
Game's over. But there's only one thing that can happen that cannot happen. Only one thing.
That's it.
You cannot give them the football.
Correct.
You can't fumble it, but you cannot throw it to them in the end zone.
Correct.
And here's the stat of the night that I ran across. Would you believe that so far this year on passes into the end zone, Russell Wilson is 2 out of 18. That's 11% on throws that go into the end zone, 2 out of 18.
Right.
That's by far the worst in the league. Last night, he was 0 for 6 on passes into the end zone. Well, in the end, even at home, you're probably going to lose even to Matt Ryan because you're not cashing anything. They were 0 for 4 in the red zone when they got in.
Right.
Okay, so the point is, all you need to do there is not give them the ball, and I think you're still going to win the game.
You're going to win the game. Skip,
right?
That's Skip. Why would I need... we talked about this the other day, Skip. You inform the guys like, look, okay, lead the ball in the end zone. We're going to fair catch it. We don't want any time to run out the clock. But you were thinking like Russ. You would think Russ has been a starting quarterback in this league for over a decade, and he's been a damn good quarterback, Skip. Russ, don't turn this ball over. Do I need to remind Russ not to turn the ball over? Skip, if you think about it, everything that he threw into the end zone was what? Late. The ball that he threw to Cortland Sutton was late.
It was late. He was off target and late all night long.
He's been off target Skip, and I don't know. Maybe there are other things that are more important than football is. But it seems to me he's starting to flinch in the pocket, and you can't flinch when you play this ball game because the collisions are coming.
Yep.
And once guys see you flinching, they're going to start heating up the pressure. Russ doesn't try to escape. Skip, let Russ cook. And I said, you know what, Russ? The Broncos gave you $250,000. So hopefully you bought new steak knives, cast iron pans, and air fryers. So cook. And I'll be damned if he didn't burn the meal. Mm-hmm. They done give him everything that he wanted. He got the office, he got the massage, they give him rooms on the road, they got his guys, he can come and go.
They did.
Damn it, you got to win some games, Russ.
All right, let's go to the final flashpoint. It's 4th and 1 at the 5-yard line.
Right.
And the first curious thing is what Nathaniel Hackett said after the game, I got the go to go for it. And I'm like, you got the go? Well, is it from that Jerry Rosberg that they hired he was with the Ravens for like 11 years.
Right.
But he was hired as sort of the eyes in the sky. He sits up in the press box with the coaches, and he's game managing.
We're 20 seconds now, get the play in.
Okay, that kind of thing, because Nathaniel, as a young first-time head coach, needed some help in the overall clock game management.
Correct.
But he got the go for it. Well, is that coming from John Elway, or is it coming from Peyton or Peyton Manning? I don't know, right? Which one? Is it coming from on high? I got the go for it. Well, maybe he's in.
I hope he wasn't talking about Russ gave him somebody to go for it.
I don't know. So they quickly call a play in the huddle and literally run to the line of scrimmage, and he goes under center. I thought they were just trying to draw Indy off sides with a bark,
right?
You know, some hard count, trying to get them to flinch and jump on the play of the night.
Right.
And Indy had a timeout in overtime. They'd run out in, obviously, regulation. They immediately use it because I guess Frank Reich is thinking, I don't want them to jump and get over-emotional and lose the game on a penalty.
Right, because now you're going to give them a first down.
Okay, but you do give them time to reconsider. Well, they reconsider, and they don't put Russ under center. So if you don't put him under center, it's hard to roll him out. It's just hard to do it out of the shotgun. It's better off some kind of play-action roll.
And plus, Skip, you're going to limit it in that situation right there. You're probably not going to run it on fourth down. So now you've limited. Now the defense knows there's a probably 85% chance he's not going to run it from the gun on a 4th and 1 in this situation.
And he is not as shifty and quick and mobile as he once was, because obviously he's an older quarterback, and he's not sure. He looks thick to me, and I'm okay with that because you have to have some thickness to take the pounding. But I don't see him have the escapability he used to have. Because there was a time when he was hard to get on the ground.
You couldn't get on the ground. And basically, Skip, their offense, Seattle's offense, was Russ improvisation. It was like, okay, Russ, go back there and do what you do and make it happen. Throw it to Lockett, throw it to Doug Baldwin, throw it to somebody down the field because we got nothing. And he can make it happen.
Okay, so to Indy's credit, their pass rush does this and this. So they're all, it's stay in your lane.
Don't let him outside the pocket.
Don't let him outside. And they engulfed him, and he's standing, and he doesn't see KJ Hamler because he's locked in. Who's his best receiver? Courtland Sutton. So he's just in his mind, I'm desperate. I just got to wait until Courtland breaks across, and I'll throw it to him. But the throw is a flat-footed sidearm throw that's just a fling. It's a desperation, gamble, hope. It's a pass and a prayer to me, if we could see it one more time into the end zone. And it looked like it had a chance for a second, but you're daring the devil because you're picking on the wrong guy. The wrong guy is that guy because he's still the guy. I don't know that there's a corner much better than he is. There's not one smarter or more savvy than he is.
Look at KJ.
Yeah. Well, he had, and it happened fast. You're going to have to read that, see it, and throw it quickly.
But see, it happens fast, Skip. But if you already predetermine where you're going with the football,
already know.
You will never ever see that.
You won't see it because he never looked that direction.
He never looked that side. And Skip, he's in the gun. It's not like Skip, he's up on the center, and because a lot of times, Skip, like when you like Dan Fouts and Dan Marino, they would take the ball and they would back straight up. Terry Bradshaw, old quarterbacks, would back straight up. Most quarterbacks now, when they take it, they take a side. So basically, if you're right-handed quarterback, you're turning your back on the right. He's in the gun. He should be. That's the whole reason they put you in the gun, so you can see the entirety of the field. That is the sole purpose in which they put you in the gun.
That is a fact.
So now he's locked in. Russ is quarterbacking like he's a first or a second-year quarterback when he's a decade plus in the league. He's missing routine throws.
Okay. And yet, it harked back to that play at the goal line in the Super Bowl, obviously, and Richard Sherman's on the set of the Amazon Prime after the game.
Richard's the one I try to tell y'all.
Okay.
I've been trying to tell y'all for years he wasn't that guy.
Obviously, Richard has been down on Russ since that moment, maybe since before that moment, because they were already turning on Russ because he had become the apple of Pete Carroll's eye. He'd become teacher's pet, right?
Correct.
And they were all convinced after the Super Bowl loss that Pete Carroll was trying to make Russ the MVP of the game instead of Marshawn, obviously, who was in the game. I continue to make the case that the stats from the year would tell you not Marshawn because he had tried 5 times from the 1-yard line and converted only 1 time out of 5. So I didn't think Russ threw a bad ball. It was to Lockett, the tall Lockett. That he's 6'4".
Yeah, he's 6'4". Yeah, big.
So he's throwing it to a possession-type receiver right at the goal line, but it was the greatest break on the football I have ever seen.
Yes.
And it just happened to be at the end of a Super Bowl by some kid undrafted out of
West Alabama.
Malcolm Butler.
Right.
And it's, as you said, it's the greatest defensive play in the history of the Super Bowl.
Right.
Well, it took that to stop that. But all of a sudden, Tom Brady's on the other sideline jumping up and down like a little second grader, right?
Right.
Because he's in shock that they have pulled it off.
Well, the thing is that you're looking at, and Russ knows Brandon Browner because Brandon Browner was there in Philly.
Yep.
In Seattle.
Yep.
He knows that he's a physical corner. And when you see him in press coverage, it's not going to work because the guy on the inside is not going to be able to get the rub on Butler, who's covering the outside receiver.
Yep.
So once he locks him up, it's a dead play. And Sherm and everybody's like, Russ, you're that guy, check up out of it. They're thinking if that's Peyton Manning, he's going to check out of it.
Yep.
If that's Tom Brady, if that's one of these other quarterbacks. And so that's why they came out on him. He's not that. And they're like, Pete, you keep treating him like he's one of those guys, and he's not. Skip, we let Russ off the hook game one because Nathaniel Hackett delayed the game penalties. But Russ wasn't cooking in Seattle.
He wasn't.
Not for the Broncos. Like, he might have cooked early in his career, but he wasn't cooking. We let him off the hook. Now, last night, there was no delay of game penalties. I thought Hackett did a great job calling the game. Look, the running game was okay. I mean, Gordon, he scares me at times because every time he gets the ball, Skip, I think he's going to fumble it.
I know, but you lost your best running back, and he's not a bad 1A. I got to tell you.
Yeah. No. But Russ was bad last night.
I'd say.
It ain't. The Colts give the Colts. You look at it. How the hell did the Colts beat the Chiefs? How?
Their defense is pretty good, underrated good. It's got some character to it. It does.
If they'd have played like that against the Chiefs would have put a 50 on them. Russ.
All right, Colts-Chiefs is another topic, guys. I will say both of Russell Wilson's interceptions did come in the fourth quarter, and after the game, he said, I let my team down. They've got a while to sit and stew on it. They don't play again until Monday night of next week.
Hold up. How they get another TV game?
No, that's 3.
Prime time, guys. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.